Hey friends, David Miller, Phoenix, Arizona multimedia artist, photographer, educator, coming to you from my studio, Primordial Creative. Been a long summer of creating new work, getting new gear, trying it out, trying new techniques. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of those techniques that I came up with. And I shouldn't say I came up with it because people have been destroying their negatives for a long period of time, probably since there were negatives. But I have been doing collage negatives and playing with the scanner as my capture tool. So I created collage negatives a few years back using a process that involves this transparent contact paper, Xeroxes. You basically put the Xerox in the back of the contact paper and rub off the back of the white paper, leaving the dark areas on there. I used that for sort of collage cyanotypes. And when I made those cyanotypes, a lot of them I put on top of paper that already had graphics on it. And that was cool. That was a fun little project. It kind of wore me down a little bit. I think the process of making Xeroxes and doing the contact paper and blah, 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 it was just too much to sustain over a long period of time. But I've been shooting a lot of disposable cameras with my main muse, Cheyenne, this summer, and I thought it would be fun to chop some of those up and see if I could make something that, you know, took it a step beyond this is a lo-fi disposable camera image. I've also been looking at a lot of work of one of my heroes, Dave McKean. He's an artist most commonly known for his collaborations with author Neil Gaiman. He did the covers for all the Sandman comics. He helped make a bunch of movies, including Mirror Mask, and he's just a great artist, a huge inspiration to me. A lot of his stuff is created through collage techniques. And so I'll go ahead and show you. These are my negative carriers. This one's for medium format film, nothing in it currently. And this is 35 and slide film. So this is what goes on my Epson scanner. And within the slide film areas, you'll see there are negatives that have been cut down the center, off the side, and then taped in the center of it. So when I do my scan, I'm not just capturing the chunk that fits in the 35 millimeter frame, I'm capturing everything around it, including the tape, including the black space. This started out as just cutting up one negative and then taping the same thing together, just at a little skewed angle, so there's a split. But I had deliberately taken a lot of pictures of Cheyenne where it was me in the same position, her in the same place, but a little bit different pose or a little bit different expression. And cut those down the middle, combined them, got some results that I think we both were really proud of. Then I wanted to take it a step further. 35 millimeter negatives are pretty small, and I wanted to do something that was a little bit of a larger scale. So I worked with a Mamiya camera and got some medium format film. I had wanted to do some images where it was the exact same pose and I just had like extra eyes to play with. I wanted to try combining bits of a 35 millimeter black and white negative that had no image on it, so just the clear film, and a color negative from the medium format, and this is the result. It's kind of a strange result because the area that's in color is actually the black and white film, and the area that's black and white is the area that was the color film. That's what the scanner produced. I'm not sure why it happened that way, but that's what happened. I wanted to produce collages that were kind of similar to my Instax collages, where I sort of extended a person by having extra sections of them. I wanted to try images where I had basically the same pose on the model, but different background environments. So one is shot on one day and one is shot on the other day. They're experiments that might feel gimmicky, but they do have their place. And more to the point, I kind of miss the aesthetic I used to be able to get in the darkroom with the filed down negative carriers where you could see the sprocket holes on the edge of the film. This was achieved because when we had enlargers in the darkroom, you had a little piece of metal that held your negative, and if you took a file, you could just shave off those edges and showcase the sprocket holes. Not something that your average film scan carrier has, but definitely when I taped it into these other environments, I could. For some of the larger negative collages that wouldn't work with those film carriers, I tape those directly onto the scanner, and as long as it fit within the scanning bed area that could get the transparency, it came out fine. And overall, I find this work very pleasing. I'm going to make zines of it. It's going to fit more into that punk rock aesthetic that I like so much. If you're going to go down this rabbit hole, this route, I want to encourage you to make sure you get good scans of your negatives, like normal ones, before you cut these guys up, because there's no going back once you get out the scissors and the tape. I mean, that stuff is permanently damaged. I know for me, different parts of my life, I'm drawn more to things that are lo-fi, punky, collaged, damaged, and then sometimes I'm more drawn to things that are clean, pure, sort of like traditional. But as long as I got a good scan to start with, I felt no guilt whatsoever in cutting these bad boys up. Thanks for watching. Best of luck in your creative endeavors. Talk to you next time.